Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the critically acclaimed Pop the Trunk Podcast Hall of Fame, Recency Bias Radio, with me as your humble host, Dave Smith, Pretty Boy Smitty, Protocol Paul, Pearl Game Ultra, Smith Dog Trail, the Rant God, Hotep Thanos, all of the above on that ISAT test and that ACT. You know what it is. Ladies and gentlemen, we are here for the 8th Challenge 34 rant, entitled Engage and Stage. Because, ladies and gentlemen, everything I just witnessed tonight was rigged to hell and back for Jordan to flip to Team UK. I mean, come on. The dude has been planting seeds. He's been foreshadowing that he's going to flip a long time ago. He wanted to flip versus Idris. He didn't get his way then. Then you mean to tell me when all signs point towards Josh should be the easy person to get rid of because Team US should be wanting to look to have the strongest possible team? I mean, at the end of the day, if Theo flips and Josh is gone, now you have Theo and Jordan on your team moving forward, ladies and gentlemen. Plus, and let's say Theo doesn't flip, you still have a Theo who doesn't want Team UK to win at all, right? And in this rant, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to not only break down why production betrayed Theo completely. Let's keep it real. They betrayed Theo because he got woke. That's why they betrayed him. I'm also going to explain why they protected Josh from getting that smoke. Because let me tell you this, ladies and gentlemen, if Josh would have been sent to that proving ground, I guarantee you there was another competition planned for him versus Theo. They wouldn't have made them dudes use sledgehammers. And isn't it very ironic, ladies and gentlemen, this entire season, I've been calling Jordan Triple H, and they use a sledgehammer competition to save him. Like, I can't make this stuff up. See, this is what makes my rant so hilarious. Because Triple H's number one tool when he can't win clean and he gotta cheat is grab the sledgehammer from underneath the ring. Production basically gave him the sledgehammer from underneath the ring tonight. Understand, ladies and gentlemen, if this competition had been anything from, I'm not even asking for a hall brawl. I'm not even asking for that. Because at the end of the day, we kind of had something similar to that when Bear went up against Josh. So I'm not really complaining about that. But for y'all not to make this a physical man-to-man competition, for Jordan's smug little butt to get on that confessional and say, oh, I grew up, I have a history of construction. Oh, I know my way around a sledgehammer. Then you got Zach straight up derided him, talking about, oh yeah, he beat me in a competition using a sledgehammer. Yeah, he's the only person to win a sledgehammer comp. So you mean to tell me all these things are magically happening at the same exact time, 1 week removed from Tory flipping, and we're all supposed to believe it's just a coincidence? Ladies and gentlemen, I wasn't born yesterday, coach. I wasn't born yesterday. Please do not forget to like, share, and subscribe, ladies and gentlemen. Now, we really got to get into this, ladies and gentlemen, because, man, I am a little heated, okay? Because I feel like Theo ain't deserve all that. You know, once I'm starting to like Theo a little bit, now don't get it twisted, at the beginning of this episode, I'm like, damn, Theo, you a quitter? Like, dog, you've absorbed all of the chakra from Georgia, coach. You feel it, dig me? I'm over here like, what is this? You got Jenny coming out of the woodwork. Oh, do you think Kaylee? Do you think D? Are you okay with carrying them during the final? And I'm just looking at her like, chill out, Jenny. Chill out. You know what I'm saying? Like, she talking about, oh, I may have been on a different side, but everything I've done was to benefit Team UK. Oh, okay. So when Dee was in the hospital, when she was in an ambulance being sent to the hospital, when you and Georgia were going out of your way to throw dirt on her name when she was essentially, you know, out of it, you feel me? You mean to tell me that was y'all just doing what was best for Team UK when y'all went to Team US members to clown her? Come on, man. See, I bring up receipts, coach, and that's why my rants are so good, because I pay attention to detail. That way when stuff like this happens, I can always bring up what I've already mentioned in the past, ladies and gentlemen. You feel me? And that is what separates me from the competition completely. You feel me? Everybody is just now catching up to my takes, and I'm in the future already. You know, that's just the truth. But so this episode starts off, ladies and gentlemen. Georgia, of course, was blindsided last week. Tory, you know, everyone's loving her. All right. And see, I'm going to really break this down. Now, Jenny and Theo packed their bags like they want to quit. I'm like, what is this? And you notice how when Jenny and Theo were threatening to quit, there was no one saying, hey, stay. No one was saying that. But as soon as she gets into self-destruction mode, as soon as she's ready to press the button and blow up, all of a sudden she gets to make a video call to Jenna. Ain't that a B? See, this is further proof that production does everything in their power to keep their favorites' heads on straight. But when you're not their favorite, they have no incentive to care about your mental health awareness. They let Theo just look like a sick puppy all episode. They let Jenny completely contradict every single game move she's made up until this point, and they just let her talk out of her ass. And see, that's what makes me laugh about Kaylee. Kaylee was keeping it real about Jenny. It's like, oh, now Jenny wants to talk strategy all of a sudden. Like, where's she been this entire game? You know, you got Josh out here. If you don't go with Kara, if you don't do what she says, then she just targets you. You a minion. Josh, don't you know you're a minion on your side? Like, this dude is so dumb. He's so tone deaf. And once again, I brought this up last week. Josh should want all of the strong players to leave out of the game. It's funny. If it comes down to Josh on the other side, oh, that's a strong player that must go. Okay? But if it's a strong player on his side, he's like, no, that person can't go. Meanwhile, if Team US wants to have their highest chance of winning the final, Josh, you gotta go. But you're talking as if they target you and put you up against Theo, they're ruining their chances of winning the final. That don't even make sense. What if Theo flips to Team US? He's a huge upgrade over your skill set. Once again, Josh is not making no sense. And this is why I went out of my way in the last video to tell you all Nani was going to self-destruct, because she does not have any women to talk to. You know, she proved it in today's episode. She ain't got no girl to talk to. She's losing her mind. Leroy is gone. And you notice, as soon as Leroy flipped completely on that other side, you notice he gets no TV time. That's production subtly betraying him too. That's them sending him a message. See, if you're a good old black person and you just side with the production pets, oh, you could get tons of TV time on this show. But if you go against the grain and do not do what production wants, oh, all of a sudden you're invisible in the next episode. You feel me? And that's why I must drive this point home. Did you all see the competition? Did you see the team comp? Theo clearly was spinning that wheel with one hand because he didn't want to ruin Team US. He wanted to sabotage Team UK. And he even had a confessional saying, I don't know what I want to do. I don't know if I want to side with Team US and help them, or if I want to sabotage Team UK. He wasn't sure. But during that comp, CT had to push him out of the way because CT's a production pet who's working with certain people, and he don't want Team UK to lose again because CT knows it's a male elimination and he's weaker than Theo. So that was CT's own paranoia kicking in that made him even take the wheel. Because CT, if you're so staunch with Rogan and Josh, you should know you have the majority, so you never be thrown in. So why are you working so hard to make sure Team US loses when at the end of the day you're linked at the hip with most of the people on Team USA in the first place? You feel what I'm saying? That once again showed me that CT was paranoid because he knows he ain't held his own weight this whole season. But once again, CT gets a free ride. And did you notice? Theo, they never allowed Theo to call out CT specifically during the tribunal, but they gave him a confessional calling CT weak. That's once again, look, there's no way Theo said that in confessional, but he didn't say it at that table. There's no way, unless they got some non-disclosure agreement where you can't fry CT in front of his face. And see, that's not fair. And you notice, Josh decided not to cast a vote this week. He did exactly what CT has been doing dang near this entire game, playing both sides. And you notice how CT was like, oh, no problem, man, whatever. You know, it's almost like CT had to give him the approval to not give a vote. CT, you don't even have the right to speak on this because you already did this before. So how about you shut up? And see, that's my problem. CT walks around like an executive producer who just happens to be a player. Right? Jordan walks around like an executive producer that just happens to be a player. And see, we're going to get into that proving ground. But I got to set the table. Okay, I got to set the table. And that's why I'm calling this rant engaged in stage, because everything about that. And this is why I'm calling it engaged in stage, because at the end of the day, that entire engagement was rigged. Do y'all really think Jordan did that competition with a ring in his pocket, swinging a sledgehammer? Bro, that would have flung out of his pocket halfway through that competition. Did we see anything of that? No, because someone in production held on to the ring for Jordan, meaning they were prepared for him to win the competition, meaning they selected this competition, they handpicked it for him to win it, meaning they betrayed Theo. But hold up, let's rewind. Let's rewind. You feel it, dig me? Let's rewind, because I'm going to give y'all that smoke tonight. See, man, listen, y'all think we stupid, dog. So, once again, like I mentioned, Theo and Jenny, they got their bags packed. They're salty right now because Georgia got blindsided. When I already broke this down last week, this was on. Yeah, see, now they trying to freeze me on like 20-second intervals. They know I'm talking that real stuff tonight. See, that's why y'all got to like this video so more people can see it, ladies and gentlemen. I see 12 people in here. Let's get that up to at least 10 likes, coach. But at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, understand, they freeze me because they know I'm bringing the smoke, bro. They know I can see through it, dog. I've taken my red pill. But let's continue. So at the end of the day, they're threatening to quit, but they don't get no accommodations like Nani got. You know, Nani, she gets to FaceTime somebody and talk to Jenna. Oh, that's my best friend. That's Zach's girlfriend. Look at the way everyone looks out for me. You feel me? But then when it comes down to Theo, the only person who's consoling him is Cam. Here's my problem. Wasn't Theo aligned to Georgia, aligned to Jenny, who was aligned to Jordan, Tori, Nani? Josh, all these people, all of a sudden, they're abandoning Theo. And see, that's the thing. That's what made Theo want to abandon the whole team, the Team US side that was part of his alliance, because none of them are there for him. Meanwhile, the only person that's there for him is Cam. And honestly, we need to give Cam the credit for why Theo made up his mind to sabotage Team UK, because she was the only person who consoled the brother. The only person. You mean to tell me Theo was part of this huge alliance with all these people who acted like they were so mad Georgia got blindsided, but nobody is consoling Theo, huh? Theo, you got your wake-up call. And what's sad is, because of his eye injury, he'll never be able to come back and really be able to bounce back from this, most likely. And that's really saddening from a perspective, because the moment Theo really got woke and saw the error of his ways and realized, dang, I low-key was on the wrong side a bit. I mean, he still ain't really cool with Kara, but still, he saw the error of his ways a bit. Soon as he got woke, they cut him. They cut him. Like, they made sure that proven ground competition was something that was not conducive to someone with his height. You feel it, dig me? Like, see, when you have a lower center mass, lower center of gravity, it's easier for you to generate power in that quick little force, right? But when you're as tall as Theo, it's harder to aim the sledgehammer, first of all, because your axis is much wider. See, I'm breaking this down from a science mathematics standpoint. You feel what I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen? That was rigged against him to begin with, bruh. Like, for real. Like, Josh may have had a chance to beat him in that sledgehammer competition. But see, that's why he's called Triple H, ladies and gentlemen. But at the end of the day, what I mentioned about Jenny and Theo is this all justifies how good the blind side was. Anytime you can make someone contemplate quitting after blindsiding one of their allies, that proves they were way too loyal to that ally, and they were never part of this Team UK, let's work as a team. That proved it. There was too much unwavering loyalty, and that suggests and confirms a pregame alliance, ladies and gentlemen. Now, you got Josh and Nani all of a sudden being company in misery. You know, look at these two. Both of them are complete cowards. Neither one of them wants the smoke. Josh spends the majority of this episode clowning the women that are on the other side as being layups, when his dumb ass don't realize he's the weakest guy in the game. Like, and see, that's my problem with Josh. How can you come at everyone who follows Kara and call them a minion, when at the end of the day, your self-awareness is so bad, you don't even see, not only are you the minion, but you're the weakest guy. And at the end of the day, you should want more weak people aligned to you because of how weak you are. But that once again shows he has been poisoned to believe his strategy in Big Brother can work on the challenge because it got him that much money. Understand that, ladies and gentlemen. So he is using the exact same strategy. 100%. He's using the exact same strategy. Josh is not changing a thing, ladies and gentlemen. I need y'all to understand that. And see, they both have a lot in common, him and Nani. Both are the worst and weakest players on their team, especially if you just break down what sex they are. They're the weakest of their sex in the game. But keep in mind, Nani wasn't this close to Josh until after she lost Leroy. If she had it her way, she would still be ignoring Josh for Leroy. Okay, so understand that. And also understand Josh is only speaking so highly of Zach and Nani because those two stood up to Leroy when his punk ass wouldn't. So he views them as, oh, my heroes. And see, I got to drive this point home. The reason why I went out of my way to mention that Nani doesn't have any woman to confide in her or any woman to confide in, the reason why I mentioned all of that is because it made so much sense for her to run to Josh, because Josh is a gossip girl. He's a woman by proxy in her eyes. That's why they getting along so well, coach. Like, let's really talk about it tonight, man. You feel me? Josh should be more worried about his game during a male elimination week. Instead, he's trying to console Nani? What has Nani really done for you in this game, Josh? Not a damn thing. She prioritized Turbo over you, Leroy over you, Laurel over you, Bananas over you. She prioritized 4 people over you, and now you acting like, oh, that's my ride or die. Because neither one of you have nobody, because y'all were minions for your side. See, man, I'm keeping it a beam, bruh. I'm keeping it a beam. But keep in mind, like I mentioned, she wasn't this close to him when he had Leroy. So if she had it her way, she would still be with Leroy and be ignoring Josh to a degree. But why is Josh's self-hate okay in Nani's eyes, but not Kara's? That's the question that was on my mind, ladies and gentlemen, the most. Remember, last episode, she went out of her way to essentially say Kara is only successful in this season because she hates herself. Well, in my opinion, especially as a black man, Josh has the highest case of self-hate I have ever seen in reality TV history. The only person close to him, I can't even think of the person that's close to him because of how bad he is, because of how dumb he is, because of how much of a buffoon he is. This man will shed a tear for a white person. This man will have no love in his heart for a black player. Ever. Ever. He acted like he was cool with Theo till Theo called him out for being a beta male. Now all of a sudden he don't even rock with Theo no more. Nani might be the darkest shaded person that Josh has ever had the back of in reality, in his entire reality TV career. Think about that. She might be the darkest shaded person Josh has ever had the back of in his reality TV career. Think about that. That shows you the self-hate right there. And Nani ain't black. So once again, he's putting her on a pedestal because she ain't black. Am I lying, y'all? I'm not lying, dog. Now, Theo was talking like he's only in the game at this point to sabotage the other players. It's so sad that a guy who talked all that trash early in the season has now inherited Georgia's quitters mentality, which is true. But he will save face later on, and that's what we're going to get to right now. Now, Jenny says she will always do what's right for the team no matter what. I already mentioned that. We're not going to get into that. But I do want y'all to pay attention to a confessional Jenny had, because it telegraphed the end of this episode completely. Did you all notice a confessional Jenny had where she came out of nowhere and she said, oh my God, somebody please come help us? That was her begging production for Jordan to flip to Team UK, y'all. Think about it. This entire episode, all she doing is whispering sweet nothings into Tori's ear. You know, every confession, I respect Tori so much. She's such a strong competitor. You know, that's all she kept saying about Tori. She said nothing negative about her the entire time. It's almost like she views her as the new Georgia, so she won't say nothing bad about her, right? And so here's my problem. You were aligned with Nicole and you thought Nicole was cool until she was proven to be a bad competitor, but you still had some type of empathy for Nicole. It's interesting. All of a sudden, Dee and Kaylee, you know, 2 people who are definitely stronger than Nicole could ever be, all of a sudden, those people don't deserve to make the final, even though they made enough moves and they've been aligned to the right side in order to deserve to get there. You know, it's such a hypocritical perspective. But I just want to drive the point home that confessional was production telegraphing it all. And I wouldn't be shocked if they had her record that confessional after Jordan already proposed to his girl. The way production works in this season specifically, we have to expect the worst, ladies and gentlemen, because what I saw tonight, I mean, come on, man. Like, that was pure scripture, coach. You feel it, dig me? Now, at the end of the day, that was her begging production for Jordan to flip to Team UK, which was more subtle rigging. Now, pay attention to how Theo, I already mentioned that. Interesting. Now, it's interesting to me how Theo says, if you're not trying, why are you here? Now, the reason why that was such an interesting thing is that was during the team competition when they were doing the rock climbing, right? But this was after Team UK was already spinning the wheel to ruin Team US when they went up first, right? So I find it very interesting. He had that confessional then. I think that was Theo going out of his way to try to fool production into thinking he was still down with the production pet get down. I think that was him trying to, oh man, they're starting to think I'm woke in this mug. I need to act like I'm still on the buffoon side of the game real quick. Let me say, if you're not trying, why are you here? You feel it, dig me? I think he threw that out there just to throw them off his scent a bit, because at the end of the day, you notice he had to fight with Paulie, but now he has more of a problem with Cara than Paulie, right? He doesn't even blame Paulie, but Paulie stepped to him like a man. He's more mad at Josh and Rogan, who did what was better for their game, than he's mad at Paulie. He's more mad at CT than he's mad at Paulie. I mean, he's more mad at everyone. And understand, I truly believe it was a misplay when he was at that tribunal and he told everyone, if I survive, I'm either going to Team US or I'm going to stay here and sabotage. Because understand, Tori's on Team UK, right? And they wanted Jordan to flip to Team UK. The last thing they wanted, especially with a women's elimination being next week, the last thing they wanted was for a guy like Theo to sabotage the game. Because if he sabotages the game for Team UK going forward, they're not even going to have a team by the time the final comes. They need them to have enough people in order to be competitive. And here's the thing. They really want them to win it. Production really wants Team UK to win this competition 100%. But my problem is Jordan and Tori were part of the reason why Team US imploded. They were part of the West blind side. They were complicit in that. Now they can just run to Team UK and act like it's you guys' fault why Team US isn't good. When in reality, y'all started picking off the strong players first and they just reacted. Now it's almost like they can change the path of history and act like somehow Jordan and Tori did something to deserve being on the winning team, when all they did was run from a flaming building when they ignited the damn match. But of course, we're just going to blame Cara Maria. We're just going to blame her and Paulie for all of these problems because people don't like them. But of course, people just blame Cara Maria and Paulie. But see, here's my problem. Why aren't these same people having a problem with Jordan's behavior? Why aren't these same people having a problem with Zach's behavior? Why are these same type of people defending Josh's beta male behavior? Why is it that Paulie is always painted with this broad stroke as this bully, or he's being painted as this guy who's being manipulated by Cara? Paulie clearly has the right mind to be a good player at this game. He even clapped for Jordan because Jordan pulled off something that should have been a blindside. But in Paulie's defense, in Cara's defense, at the end of the day, coach, that competition was handpicked to make sure the blindside couldn't happen. I guarantee you, if production had it their way, they would have they would have rigged the comp last week in Georgia's favor the same exact way. The problem is, Georgia was so defeated before the competition even started, she wouldn't even won even if they did rig it for her. They could have made that a 2-mile run. She was, they betrayed me. Kaylee, she just wants to be a good strategic player. She doesn't want to come down here. She's too busy focusing on that. You see what I'm saying? She was defeated before she stepped on the damn proving ground. You feel me? And give credit to Theo. Even though he may have appeared defeated during this episode, he was ready for the smoke. He was stretching. He was working out. He was doing pull-ups. He was keeping his muscles warm. You feel me? So we do have to create that separation there that Theo clearly is not Georgia, right? Georgia would have completely crumbled, all right? Now, Josh really thought they would let him be the speaker right after one episode removed from Georgia leaving. This was on my mind. I'm like, what is up with Josh? Why does he think these people with the majority alliance, with enough votes to make sure anyone they want can be speaker every week, what makes him think they're going to allow him to be speaker? How does it benefit any of their games to let the guy who started the flaming building, the guy who tripped and fell and created a gasoline leak, who's going to let you be speaker ever again, Josh? It doesn't benefit anyone to let you be speaker. And quite frankly, you're such an emotional, personal playing buffoon. All you would do is vote for Josh anyway. We know what you're going to do before you even do it. So what's the point? That's bad TV. That's bad TV. And at the end of the day, for it to be Zach picked in that tribunal, that was by design. They wanted it to come down to Josh or Jordan, ladies and gentlemen, 100%. Now, in my opinion, I think Josh should have been picked before Jordan. I think you should cut him. Just get him up out of there. Because then Nani self-destructs and she quits. Now you lost both of your weakest players in one swift movement. And now Jordan is still on your team. And even if he wants to sabotage your team, who really cares at that point? Because at a certain point, the final starts and Jordan got to live up to his name. You feel what I'm saying? Like Jordan can't speak about this whole season. Oh man, but can y'all handle me in the final though? And then sabotage the team in the final. That would ruin his entire story arc of the entire season. Jordan is a little too self-centered to do that. He's a little too self-centered to do that. So do not believe Jordan was willing to sabotage the same way Theo was willing to sabotage. I don't believe it at all. And that's why production turned on Theo. Okay? So I need y'all to understand that now. But understand, Josh believing he would become the speaker is more proof of how much of a buffoon he is. All he would do, like I mentioned, is target Josh. But he really is just scared of the proving ground. And that is the only reason why he wanted to be a member of the tribunal. And see, here's the thing, Josh. You can't be so terrified of being thrown in. So you want to volunteer to be the speaker of the tribunal, but then act like, oh, just throw me in. Oh, just throw me in. And the previews, you know what I'm saying, of this episode, they try to make it seem like Josh stood up to Cara. I didn't see that. Actually, he cowered in front of her. You know, she asked him to his face, who do you have a problem with? Oh, well, strategically, you know, he's in the pool, you know, trying to think of what to say because he don't want to throw nobody else under the bus because he's a coward. So he's like, well, the only people strategically I have a problem with is Paulie and you know, and see, Cara said what needed to be said to his face. She's like, you're going up to everybody in this game and say, well, I have no problem with you. I have no problem with you. I have no problem with you. But then when you're with Zach, you know, and you get a little bit of drinks in you, now all of a sudden, all of them are layups and they're going to sabotage the team and we won't be able to compete in the final, right? So that is a contradiction in itself, ladies and gentlemen, showing you that Josh cowered in front of Cara. Now, you can say it's good gameplay to not give her any further ammunition to go to the other women and tell them, but Josh, you're one of the gossip girls. You should look at that as a 1-to-1 ratio. You should look at that as an even fight. But see, here's the thing. You're a man. You should really look at this as an uneven fight because you should view yourself as stronger than all of those women. But the problem is you don't. See, it's all about your actions, bro. Your actions tell everybody how you're built, man. You know, if you really got it or not. Your actions tell us a lot about you, bro. Cara is in front of your face. You say everyone who follows her orders is minions. This is your moment to stand up to her. You won't do it. Then you go to Zach, you go to Nani, you go to Tori, you go to Jordan. You feel me? You going for all of them, and then you ask for approval to call Cara out at the proving ground. Hey guys, I'm gonna call that bitch out. I'm gonna call her out. What you guys think about that? Huh? I'm not even scared of going against Theo. I'm no business. I'm not scared at all. If you wasn't scared, why were you trying to be in the tribunal? I know. You feel it, dig me? Like he's not making sense, y'all. He's not making sense. This man legit calling all these women minions, but he's asking for approval to call Cara out. Are you serious right now, bruh? You need approval from other people to call Cara out when you were in the pool right in front of her, face to face, one-on-one. Understand, CT walked away. It was one-on-one. You could have got that smoke, coach. You could have got it, but you didn't want it. You didn't want it. You was trembling in your little floaties. You was trembling in your little Speedo. You feel it, dig me, coach? Like, come on, man. Like, bro, like, come on, dog. Like, I'm not here for the excuses tonight, man. Like, and see, Josh fans can't even defend this beta male behavior, bruh. Like, if you truly feel this way about Cara, my G, step to her. But see, you scared of Paulie coming at you. That's what it's really about. You feel me? But you want to keep saying, oh, well, Cara's manipulating Paulie. Well, Paulie came at you first. Now, all of a sudden, you're trying to make it about you and Cara because you don't want to deal with Paulie. Well, which one is it? And at the end of the day, Paulie was perfectly fine with working with you until you turned on Wes. They ain't got nothing to do with Cara. They got to do with you two probably having some type of an agreement coming into the game, you going back on it to be a minion with these other guys. But go ahead and keep trying to change the narrative as if you're not the coward out of all these people. Yeah. Like, it's really going to work, bro. You know, I don't really want to. Like, bro, you look like a bum, bro. You feel me? Now, at the tribunal, ladies and gentlemen, Theo makes a strategic threat during it to either flip to Team USA or sabotage UK. This proves he spun that wheel with one hand to help Team USA like I thought he did. But this is the wrong approach. He should have been throwing CT under the bus instead of being bent out of shape. And honestly, he should have called out CT for being out of shape. You feel me? It's funny. When it comes to Esther, Oh, she's out of shape and she can't run or swim. When it comes to Idris, well, he can run because he's a boxer, but he can't swim. But when it comes to CT, a guy who's done no competition well, no one ever mentions that. Instead, all you hear is Josh and Rogan say, well, we've been loyal to him, so we're not going to do him like that. And honestly, I understand it from their perspective. They're trying to keep their numbers, keep their majority. But at this point, coach, like, you have so much of an almost overwhelming numbers that you could afford to cut CT. The problem is you can't cut CT. They won't let you cut CT. Okay? So that forces them to keep throwing Theo in. And you can see it on Rogan's face, y'all. And Rogan and Theo beefed earlier. And Rogan clearly felt bad for him nevertheless. That shows you, bro, they forced these dudes' hands, bro. They wouldn't let them make the right sound game decision and throw CT in. And see, here's the thing. If it's CT versus Josh, I don't know who wins that comp at this stage of CT's career. I honestly don't. But honestly, I think that would have been a more competitive matchup. But see, that's my problem, ladies and gentlemen. But see, that's my problem, ladies and gentlemen. You can tell all the people who have been working with Jordan and Tori from the beginning of this game based off who was overly celebrating that proposal. That tells you who was working with them from the start of the game. CT was celebrating like it was Christmas. He's the same guy saying Jordan's game tactics are cheap, but you're happy that they upstaged this entire television program for their relationship? Okay. You feel me? Like what does this have to do with the game? And ask yourself, the only reason why Jordan waited this long to propose to her because he was never thrown in until now. He probably had this idea in his mind this entire game, but he never could do it. Which is why I'm telling y'all, I think production talked Cara and Paulie out of making the decision of getting rid of Josh. I think they talked them out of that. I think they say, hey, you got a problem with Jordan, right? Throw him in there. Hey, don't be scared now. I think they punk them. They use reverse psychology to basically gaslight them into throwing in Jordan, knowing that the competition would be rigged for Jordan to be saved. So I think production in this one fall swoop did everything in their power to act like they were okay with Jordan leaving just to pull a double bluff on Cara and Paulie to get this one moment. That's what they wanted. And honestly, I'm not even mad at Cara and Paulie because any other season with a guy who isn't part of production, with a season that isn't rigged, that's a sound game move because Theo is the exact person you would want to take out Jordan. If it was anybody else down there, if it was CT, you're not throwing in Jordan. That's a waste. Now you got Jordan mad at you and he's going to replace CT on that team. Now you got to deal with Jordan and Theo plus Rogan and Josh. R.I.P. No, nobody want those problems. You feel me? So understand, ladies and gentlemen, not only did they rig it so CT wouldn't go in, but by them rigging it so he wouldn't go in, they kind of rigged it for Jordan to go in as well against Theo. Okay? So all of these things are fluid. Okay? All of these things are fluid. All right? But yeah, so he should have thrown CT under the bus, but once again, it's like the entire cast signed an NDA agreement not to disrespect CT at the tribunal. Theo was only allowed to do it through confessional, further proving how production protects CT. Now, Zach tells Paulie and Cara he doesn't want to know who they're throwing in, but all sides point to Jordan or Josh. We now know it ended up being Jordan, but I think they wanted it to be Josh based off how the edit was created. You could clearly tell Cara had more of a reason to throw in Josh, But at the end of the day, though, it made more sense for them to throw in Jordan in any other season, like I mentioned previously. Now, seeing Josh and Zach bond over the women being layups for the final is mind-boggling. Josh himself is a damn layup. He should want to work with layups, but he's such an emotional player, he can't check his emotions to pivot within the game. So instead, he changes the narrative to act like Zach and Nany are good people. But what makes them good people, ladies and gentlemen? Zach picks on women and rides the fence. Nany is a total coward who expects everyone to play her game. When you think about it, Josh only likes them because they attacked Leroy after he buried Josh last episode. On Big Brother, Josh relied on others to pivot for him and carry him to the end. On the challenge, that strategy just doesn't work, coach. It really doesn't, especially if you have smart players of the ilk of a Paulie, of a Cara, of an Ashley, of a Cam. If you have these type of players, that won't work. And that's why you see half of those players weren't invited next season. So there you go right there. Now, I already mentioned Nany is self-destructing. I'm not going to get into that again. But I already mentioned that too. At the end of the day, Nani got the video call. I call it video call gate. That was them. Don't quit, please. No. No. You know what I mean? Now, we need someone to compete against D or Kaylee next week. We want this to be your comeback story, Nani. We'll rank that count for you just like we did Jordan, Nani. Don't leave us. Here's a video call. Here's an iPad. You will dig me. But so Josh tells Kara, well, I already mentioned that. Dang, I really freestyled the majority of these notes, to be honest. Now, after the commercial break, Josh tells Jordan, Tori, Zach, hey, this freestyle's been so good that the majority of these notes I already said already. So it's like they freezing me, but they ain't really freezing nothing I ain't already said. So it's funny. This is giving me time to peep what I already said. All right, now, the proving ground scene happens. Zach votes for Josh, okay, which would have been what Josh would have done, okay? So understand, they're just doing what they always do, target Josh. But see, here's my thing. Zach basically admits he's a coward because he says, oh, I voted for Zach over the rest. I voted for Josh over the rest because he has small balls. He has small nuts. Oh, okay. You're a former winner of the challenge and you don't even take a big swing? Like, okay. You're basically admitting this won't blow back in your face as hard as anyone else. That's you admitting you're a beta male. I mean, at the end of the day, that's you admitting it. And see, he knows at the end of the day, Kara and Paulie ain't gonna vote with him. So he's really just throwing the vote away anyway, But at the end of the day, for him not to spend it on CT, right? That once again shows. Because see, you got to think about this for a second. CT should be the one guy that he should pull aside and go, hey, man, I don't want to ruin my game with anybody else. Me and you have an understanding. They have 2-1 over me in the tribunal. No matter where my vote goes, it's really a burned vote. So would you mind if I voted for you? Because that would throw people off our scent that we're working together. See, now that would have been a great play. That would have been something you go, whoa, Zach is capable of that type of strategy, that type of strategic acumen. But see, CT, he is so insulated with production, you can't even throw a burn vote his way. You feel what I'm saying? Like, it is mind-boggling, bro. Now, Paulie ends up voting for Jordan. So it all comes down to Cara Maria, of course. And this is when things get funny because she votes for Josh at first. And you can see it on Josh's face. He was scared. Like, he was scared stiff, bruh. He was scared stiff. Like, he was... it was almost like Metal Gear Solid with the exclamation point over a motherfucker head. Dun, 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 dun. Well, you better go hang in a locker somewhere and hide, coach. You feel dig me? And it's funny. Josh asked for permission to clown Cara and come at her. As soon as she voted for him, he didn't say nothing, though. He didn't say nothing. He was scared. Then Cara ends up taking the vote back, and she ends up instead being in solidarity with Paulie, of course, to vote for Jordan. But the reason why this is important to mention is because, once again, Josh, the guy who wouldn't come at her in the pool, the guy who asked for permission and approval to come at her at the proving ground, he has his stage to come at her after she votes for him, or at least he assumes she votes for him because she said his name. He had nothing. He didn't want no energy. And see, that's what I'm telling you. The only way a guy like Josh in that moment could be that dang kerfuffled, could have absolutely nothing to say, to be for the only emotion to be on his mind be being nervous after saying he wasn't scared of Theo, that proves he's a liar right then and there. But understand, Josh was in on it. He knew it was rigged for Jordan to go in. All of these people knew it was rigged for Jordan to go in on that side. That's why they were so shocked it was a tie. They're like, huh? No one was shocked when Paulie voted for Jordan, but why is everyone so shocked when she votes for Josh? That was a dead giveaway, ladies and gentlemen. That way too many people were in on what was scripted to happen, coach. See, man, I'm really breaking this down, man. You feel me? Like I'm really breaking this. Now we get to the moment y'all all came here for, to hear my thoughts on this rigged competition, coach. So at the end of the day, it's rigged for Jordan when he's match versus Theo and the comp ends up being something he grew up doing. Production, y'all would have been a lot smarter to hide that confessional from the edit. But it feels like y'all put that there to clown Paulie and Cara and be in on the joke of how dumb they are to put him in there. But at the end of the day, they weren't dumb at all to vote him in. In fact, they were very intelligent. Y'all just made it your personal goal to make them look stupid in the edit because you rigged the competition for Jordan. And that's the sad part about it. Like, history is written by the victor. So now all of a sudden Jordan looks like a badass because he wins a comp he was always meant to win. And I've already broken down Theo because of the axis of how he's waving that sledgehammer. He has absolutely no possible arc to hit it dead on the nail to get it to hit the light bulb well enough. He's coming at an angle that's just not good enough, bruh. And that's due to his height, you know? And see, that's the thing. They didn't raise the level of the area he was hitting to match his height to make it fair. You feel me? Y'all can say whatever y'all want about Big Brother, but at least Big Brother, they'll raise the angle depending on your height. That way the ball is falling from the same length. So you're really catching it at the same arc. You feel what I'm saying? Whereas on this one, they literally had it the same level, which benefits who? The smaller guy, right? It wasn't like they raised Theo's up to match how much taller he is than Jordan. That itself shows you that they rigged the competition. On top of the fact that the comp was meant for Jordan anyway, they didn't even give Theo a fair shot at it to begin with. Because if it's raised, Theo now has the same arc Jordan has, and at least he isn't gassing himself out, aiming extra low with it. Because understand, Jordan is so short, he's aiming around his waist. Theo is so tall, this man is aiming around his knees. See, when I break it down like that, ladies and gentlemen, this is irrefutable. This is irrefutable, bro. You know? And see, that's the thing. Like, and see, Theo, they built him up as the challenge king right before that competition started, just so they could rig it for Jordan to take his Infinity Stones. Just so they could rig it. You feel me? And see, that's the thing. And Theo tried to get an extra one on there and say, I'm a challenge God. You feel it, dig me? And that's when TJ was like, no. We're going to make sure Jordan's the challenge God, Theo. Yeah. Like, that's basically what they did, you know? This is crazy, bro. It's crazy, bro. And when you add the context of Jenny begging for help in her confessional with production nearby, it's safe to say they rigged this week 100%. And when you also add the fact next week was a girl's elimination and Tori was a sitting duck, production needed Jordan to flip. But most importantly, they needed Theo gone because he was getting woke. And here's a prediction, ladies and gentlemen. I guarantee you CT is going to flip on Joss and Rogan, and now he's just going to work with Jordan and Tori. And he's going to act like you guys are dummies for thinking I was going to align with you to the end of the game. And I think that's why Rogan is going to be, his hand is going to be forced, and that's why D is going to feel betrayed, because Rogan going to be like, damn, we don't even have the numbers to vote in Tori. We got to vote in D, because these three are going to vote. CT, Jordan, and Tori are going to vote in D, right? And who's on the other side? You got Joss, you got Rogan, you got D, and you got Kaylee. Technically, they do have the majority, but Rogan wants to have the best team heading into the final, which leads to him flipping over. And most likely he takes Joss with him. It probably becomes a 5-2 vote if I had to predict it, ladies and gentlemen. And honestly, I do not blame D for being mad about this. She has a right to be mad about this. But my problem is, Rogan, you should have flipped on CT before you ever flipped on D. And quite frankly, that makes Rogan look like a production pet in the making. The fact that he even decided to do it. That isn't a good sign. But I will say he did kind of get a winner's edit during this week. He did get kind of, but when you add to the equation how now Jordan and Tori is on his team, it makes sense why his edit is look like a winner's edit. It looks like those three is going to be the final three on their team that wins the final or something, just based off how the edit is shaking out. But maybe it's going to be 2 guys and 2 girls. So I guess Josh gets eliminated before Rogan. It's going to be Rogan, Jordan, Tori, and I guess Kaylee. That's the only other girl left that would make it to the final, because I just don't think D is going to be able to handle the fact that Rogan betrayed her. I don't know if she's going to have the right mindset to be able to handle the proving ground with that context. So I don't know. But understand, ladies and gentlemen, this is production pet protection to the highest of levels. And please don't forget to like, ladies and gentlemen. I see a lot of people up in here, but we only at 10 likes, coach. You feel it, dig me? Like the video so you can make sure more people can watch this video, okay? Don't be selfish. Now, I know this is some great stuff to have to yourself, but it's good to share sometime, coach. You know what I mean? Now, but yeah, so when you add the context of Jenny begging for help in the confessional with production nearby, it's safe to say they rigged this 100%. And I already mentioned the whole Theo was woke side of it. So they love a black pet being a buffoon, but production abandons woke black people. They did it to Leroy last week. protected Josh this week, and got Theo out this week. They technically killed 3 black birds with 1 stone. That's messed up, but it's true, ladies and gentlemen. They legit created a comp with sledgehammers to help Triple H. I mean, Jordan. I mean, when you really break it down, that's what they did. Then someone in production clearly held on to his engagement ring for him so he could propose after he won. He didn't compete with that shit in his pocket. So wake up, everyone. Production definitely kept Josh safe so this proposal could happen. Okay, so understand, if Josh was thrown in there, we don't get this proposal. Maybe Jordan never gets thrown into the final. Maybe Jordan never has the opportunity to propose to her. And think about this for a second. If they're never on the same team, the proposal doesn't look the same. So for him to flip to Team UK right after proposing to her, it makes him look like somebody who's really bigger than he actually is. It was really meant to make him look bigger than he is. But ladies and gentlemen, let's get into answering some questions. At the end of the day, that's my thoughts. I mean, there's no real reason to break down the competition any further than I did, okay? By them not raising the level to make sure Theo had an equal access to be able to swing that sledgehammer, they essentially screwed him. And the fact that he didn't have any prior history of wielding anything in construction meant he was behind the 8 ball to begin with. But all right, I'm here to answer questions, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get it. Shout outs to Ironhide. What's good? Thank you, Midnight Blitz. I appreciate that. Thank you about that. I appreciate it. You know, I've been working on my radio voice for a long time. You feel it, dig me. All right. Hold on. Zach is a closet. You know what? Hey, listen, I wouldn't be shocked because he always got some hot stuff to say about a non-white female. You know, always. But that is what it is. But yeah, do we got any questions, ladies and gentlemen? I would love to answer some. You feel it, dig me? I agree, Starlight Sparkle. YouTube does need to behave. But see, when you are a truth seeker, like the RBR family and the community truly is, you know, when you got a guy like me who they can't predict their moves. I mean, come on. Earlier today, I dropped a power video and I shook up the power community with it. You feel it, dig me? It's not even what I do, but I just did it to say I could. You feel me? Like when you got a guy like me who's truly an enigma, I make a lot of people nervous, man. Okay, because they like dependent variables on this platform. They don't like independent variables that are free thinkers such as myself. But shout outs to Carl Jung. What's good, my guy? Yes, sir. You already know I got the Marcus Garvey Joan on. You feel it, dig me? You feel it, dig me, coach? You feel it, dig me? You feel me? I'm glad you noticed that. See, that let me know you woke, coach. You woke. I didn't know if y'all could peep it from that far away. You feel it, dig me? BMG says, damn, I can't. I'll catch up so I can watch these live. I'm binging watching Copy My Walk right now. You a real one, coach. You a real one. Hey, enjoy that binge, bruh. Because the one after Copy My Walk, that's going to be funny, coach. Ida Yakupovich, he asks the question, is Fessy on the challenge? Yes, he will be on the next season, Miss Ida. James Theo said, good luck running with CT. Very true. I agree with you. You know, it's like all these other people, they get held to a certain type of standard. But CT, well, none of that applies to him because he's been on the challenge for 20 years. I mean, come on. Like, at a certain point, y'all got to keep it a buck. Is this the agenda to get rid of black people? Or is this truly how you feel about people being weak? Because CT hasn't done nothing in a few challenges now. Now, I know he won a challenge recently. I forgot what challenge that was. I know he won a challenge recently. But, I mean, what did he really do to win that one? Not much, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, CT ain't really done nothing. You know what I'm saying? Especially this season. You know, they've allowed him to be such a narrator of this season, but he's really done nothing to garner holding that type of weight. He's really done nothing. You know, but they're loyal to who's loyal to them in production. And that's just what it is, ladies and gentlemen. So staged. They had this elimination made for Jordan Hammer challenge. Yep, I agree with you wholeheartedly, coach. See, I'm glad y'all woke, man. I'm glad y'all woke. See, I had a feeling the majority of the stuff I was going to say, y'all already knew what it was. You feel it, dig me? You feel it, dig me, coach? Okay, question from Mr. Marquez Matthews. How would you feel if production rigged Josh to turn on us and win a proving ground in the same episode? Oh, you mean turn on Team US? I think, first off, it would be such an unbelievable thing to happen. that production would have people boycott their season if that happened. I think they're aware of that. And that's why they just said, hey, keep Josh out of the proving ground. Like, because they want him on the television show. They also, if they invited him back, right? Out of all the people they invite back, if they invite him back, but don't invite Paulie back, oh, he failed a psych test. You think Josh is mentally sane? To say Paulie is insane, but Josh is perfectly normal. Bruh, that's a stretch. That's the Stretch Armstrong of the week, coach. You must be doing a lot of hot yoga and Pilates in your off time, coach. You feel it, dig me? Like, come on, bro. He failed a psych test. The amount of crazy people you got on this show. You had a guy compare a black man to Ted Bundy, and he passes every psych test. Come on, coach. Come on, coach. Huh? You got all of these dudes with Napoleon syndrome picking on women, but they pass the psych test. Come on, coach. Come on, coach. You let Jordan come back on the show after making monkey noises to chastise a black woman, but he keeps passing the psych test. Come on, coach. And see, if you follow soccer, that's what people from Italy do in all of their soccer matches. They make those monkey chants. So understand, I wouldn't be shocked if Jordan was Italian. I wouldn't be shocked. You feel it, dig me? I really wouldn't be shocked. Cam6996, what's good, my brother? He asked the question, who has the best chance of winning the challenge in your opinion? Well, now that the way the game is shaked out, it's Jordan and Tori. One of them too. I mean, they basically manufactured it to go in their benefit. You feel me? Like when Georgia got thrown in and she knew she had to compete against Tori, she basically mentally checked out and said, I can't beat her. Like she was up against Wonder Woman. When Georgia has been built up by production to be Wonder Woman herself, right? She really showed us, nah, you're not Daenerys Targaryen, coach. Yeah, you ain't on that level, coach. You're not the breaker of chains. That's not you, coach. If anything, Cam is the breaker of chains. Because she's the dragon whisperer. She can talk to Leroy. You should flip. Okay. Theo, she can talk to him. You should flip. You know what? I hate Paulie, but you know what? I don't mind him winning the game. Like Cam is a savage, bruh. Like she is the breaker of. Matter of fact, she is the breaker of pre-games. You. Anytime you got a pre-game alliance, Cam like, oh, bet I'm up. All right, let me get it together then. She cracking her knuckles. She ready to fuck the game up. You feel it, dig me, coach? You feel it, dig me? That's funny as hell, bro. Team Iron High asked the question, did you hear about them dropping Swaggy from the next challenge? Yes, I have reason to believe that is a rumor that isn't true, and people are spreading that information because they want clicks on their shitty blogs. That's my perspective on that. While I do believe MTV would do that to a woke black man on their television show, I don't think they could afford to do that to someone on their first challenge. To just be like, nah, I'm cool. You feel it, dig me? Now, don't get it twisted. I've seen them like not invite a guy back. I remember, didn't they have another black guy named Theo? I think he was an American dude from like Real World Chicago. And he was competing against Corey Warden, I think an Invasion of the Champions or something. And they had to do this competition where they had to jump off a bungee rope. They had to do a bungee jump and fly across quicker than the other person or something like that. And I think the black dude wouldn't do it because he had a fear of heights. And he was never invited back by TJ. So I know that they will hold a grudge with you if they view you as a quitter. Understand, Swaggy not going to quit. Swaggy a competitor. So if he ain't invited back, it's because of something else. And Swaggy, being with his girl, he going to be on his best behavior to protect her, especially the first few eliminations. But I still believe we need to have low expectations for the season altogether because it still isn't in their best interest based off the cast that surrounds them. It really isn't built around them correctly for them to do really well. Now, do I think both of them individually is very difficult to get out of that game? Absolutely. I think now that Theo's gone, Swaggy is probably the best athlete on the challenge, right? So listen, you're going to have to sledgehammer Swaggy. You feel it, dig me? You're going to have to sledgehammer that, brother. You're going to have to create a comp that we ain't seen in 15 years, that no one sees coming. You're going to have to pick something a black man does not even wield in everyday life, right? Oh, let's do a jackhammer competition. Black folks like, bro, we don't use jackhammers in the streets. What is this? You feel it? Y'all gonna have to think of something like that to stop that brother from not beating someone in a proving ground. That's just my opinion on it. And that's the one thing they do got going for them, ladies and gentlemen, that individually, both he and Bailey are very good athletes. You feel it? Dig me. Eddie James asked the question, what's good, my brother? Do you think next season's ratings will suffer? Absolutely, ladies and gentlemen. Now, here's why I say that. I think they're going to suffer. Hold on. Look. I think they'll be better than this season's ratings initially. Okay, because you're going to have a lot of Swaley fans coming in. You're going to have a lot of Big Brother fans like, damn, there's a lot of new, fresh Big Brother people. You're going to get a lot of casual Big Brother people watching this season, either to see Swaley fail or to see them succeed. That's going to give them an injection of fans. But I think just around the time this season started tailing off with people starting to be tired of it, because see, that's the funny part. People always say they hate a season when it's one-sided, but show me a challenge season that wasn't one-sided. Every season ends up being one-sided. It's just about, do you like that side or not? You know, when the Lavender Babies were dominating, I had people tell me they were loving it, right? I didn't really like them dominating, but I'll admit the strategy of that season was at a very high level, so I tolerated it to a degree. And the ending to the season was amazing. So that made it almost worthwhile to sit through it. And it felt like that season was very long, right? But yeah, like, if you look at War of the Worlds 1, I mean, at the end of the day, that was a one-sided challenge too. You feel me? Because Bananas got eliminated early in that one as well. To be honest, Bananas always gets eliminated pretty early. But, you know, Bananas got eliminated early as well. And, you know, one side pretty much dominated that season as well, you know. And that's why the majority of people who made the end were a whole bunch of new people who were kind of UK people, right? Like it was the Turbos, the Georges, the Theos. And I think that's why that season's ratings kind of died off a bit. Because at the end of the day, it was a whole bunch of people we didn't even know that made the final, right? You had a Ninja in the final, you know? You had a lot of people no one really cared about that was in the final. No offense to the people who made the final, but it's just the truth, right? And see, I know people who are telling me that they only wanted Turbo to be here for really a couple of seasons. They never really planned it out for Turbo to win a season. Once he won that season, they had to bring him back again. But now, because of that fight, they have all the excuse they need never to bring him back because they really were just using him to get the Turkish fan base into the challenge. They just wanted that spike. So understand, the new people they're bringing around, they're bringing them around almost as a gimmick in order to spike up the ratings a bit because things are getting stale. And see, the thing is, they're falling for the mousetrap of thinking this season got stale just because one season dominated. It's not that. It's because people hate certain players and don't want to see them succeed, right? That's not necessarily conducive or the equivalent to one side dominating. Because if you ask most people can say, I'm not really the hugest fan of Kara, but I've rocks with Cam the long way. So I root for that side, right? But the majority of people who hate Kara, they will overlook all of the cool people in that alliance just to wish the worst for Kara because they view her as the ringleader. When you got toxic people like that, that's willing to just write you off just by association. But meanwhile, all these people on Jordan's side can be connected to him and you don't look at them any different because of who they're aligned to or associated with. It shows how full of crap everyone is because they don't keep that same energy. And that's how I feel, man. That's how I feel. What's good, Miss Mary Sims? Good to see you, Coach. Yeah, I already answered that. Yes, please like the video, ladies and gentlemen. I'm finna wrap this up, though. I just want to see if there's any more questions. I'm scrolling down. Okay, it looks like we're out. So, ladies and gentlemen, this has been my 8th rant of the Challenge 34, entitled Engaged and Staged. I hope all of you have enjoyed yourself tonight, and I hope you all had a safe Halloween last week, okay? It was snowing around my parts of my neck of the woods, so the kids didn't really hike much through the blizzard, if you'll dig me. But, if you could, please like, share, and subscribe. And on the right side of my channel's page, click on that bell. That way you can be here with the most lit live chat in the challenge history, bar none. After this, go ahead and check out my power video, man. I think y'all enjoy yourselves on why, my 3 reasons why Tariq killed ghosts. But other than that, man, I'm out of here. Y'all have a great night. I will see you all next Wednesday, Coach. Deuces.